So firstly, it can be tricky where you go to a place or you've gone to a place and you've experienced church hurt. It's not something that we can run away from. Everywhere you go, you're always going to get maybe somebody that didn't say hello to you, or somebody that didn't greet you, or somebody that ignored you. And I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but you're always going to experience that. And I gave the point of how we should treat people, and it's not something that you can run away from. So the issue, what happens is that when people go through this, it's very easy to be like, yeah, all churches are like that, all places are like that, because so and so did this to me, then I hate all churches. That's the mistake we do. And I know with certain cases which are very critical cases, I understand why people have those views, because some people have gone through church hurt, but some real church hurt. We need to ask ourselves, why do we go church? Are we going for the building, or are we going for God? And are we going to get to know Jesus? And I think that's so key. And to be honest, everything that you need to know about Jesus is in the Word of God. It's all in the Word of God. But at the end of the day, we need to think about our intentions and not look at the building and not look at the people, and always remember, you know what? I'm going for Him. Another thing also is forgiveness. If you have gone through any kind of church hurt, it is so key and important that we forgive. In the Bible, it says this. It says that we must forgive. If we don't forgive, we're only hurting ourselves. We're only burning ourselves. We're not doing anything for ourselves. Whilst whoever's hurt you or whatever's hurt you is going about their business, doing what they need to do, we ourselves, we're only burning ourselves. We're only just each day building a grudge, holding a grudge, being annoyed, being angry. And it's very key that you ask God, like, God, it's difficult, but please help me to forgive whatever I've gone through. Are you able to forgive? Sit down in a congregation, and whoever next to you did not say hello to you or was a bit rude to you, are you able to still look at them with clean eyes? Are you still able to just be like, all right, cool, you know, you did that to me, but it's all good, like, it's fine, I'm moving on. Another thing is, we need to remember that we are humans. Like, you need to remember that everybody is a human and everybody is prone to mistakes. Just because they're in a particular position or they have a responsibility, you need to also remember that they are human and they make mistakes. Even I, myself, in leadership, I have made many mistakes. Are humans. Like, I remember there was one girl, really lovely girl, literally just giving everybody something. Like, I was like, here you go, here you go, here you go. Like, and it was so busy, like, it was busy. I was multitasking. Then she asked me a question, and because I was so busy, the way I responded was just like, oh yes, do. And I am quite direct, even though I try my best to hide my directness, but I'm quite a direct person. So later on, she messaged me and said, oh, you know, I didn't like the way you spoke to me, blah, blah, blah. Guys, I was just like, me, oh my gosh. Like, I spoke to somebody that, like, I didn't even realize myself that I hurt somebody just the way that I spoke to them. And you know what I explained? I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry. I really do apologize. I was multitasking and I was so busy. And, you know, there was a lot of people asking for the thing that I was giving out, and I was just like, like, it wasn't my intention, like, honestly. And then, you know, on the flip side, she was like to me, oh, you know, maybe I overthink things, maybe I am like that, I do tend to overthink things. So it was really interesting to hear, you know, both sides. You know, from her side, she took it as I was a bit rude, but then at the end of the day, she maybe said that she tends to overthink things at times. Then maybe it's for me to just be more careful, even extra careful. So I guess there's two sides, but I was just so apologetic. My next point is, if you have experienced any kind of church hurt, if you have experienced that, speak to the person. If you're brave enough, because not everyone's brave enough to do that, and some people are a bit more shy than others, some situations are a bit more uncomfortable than others, but if there is a way that you can speak to them about it and be like, oh, just like what the girl did to me, oh, I didn't like the way you spoke to me, I thought it was rude, or I didn't like the way that you ignored me, or, you know, I sense a bit of this, I sense a bit of that. You never know. If you talk it out, that can just eliminate all the problems. That can just eliminate everything that we do talk about it, because you just never know. Instead of just holding it in within you, you might just paint this person or paint this thing or paint this situation, as you might just judge them based on that one experience, based on that one incident, not knowing that they're just the most amazing person in the world. I think it's really important to always speak about it, only if you can do though, because I know certain circumstances, certain situations, it's very tricky and it's very hard, and it does take a bold step to do. Another thing, prayer. If you've gone through a church hurt, or if you've gone through an experience that you didn't like, it's very key that you pray about it. It's very key that you take it to God. It's very key and when you take it to God, make sure you're sincere. Like, don't be fake. Don't say and be like, so and so hurt me, so and so did this to me, so and so ignored me. What's the amazing thing about God is, like, you can take anything to him. You can take anything and everything to him. You don't want grudges to form where you can't forgive that person. You don't want that to build. You don't want that to regress. You don't want that to happen. So I think it's very key and it's very important that you really pray about it, and you really take it to God, and you really pour out your heart to him and pour out everything that's inside of you. And like, it's just like, bruh, hey, I know that when you pray, when you present certain things to God, it's like a burden lifted off your shoulder, and sometimes your mindset just changes. You receive a mind shifting. Easy to just be like, maybe after the prayer you feel better, or you might get time to maybe think about it a bit more. It might even give you that boldness to talk to that person. You know, key, don't generalize. Because you've gone through churches, what people tend to do is that they say, all churches are the same, every Christian's like this, every Christian's judgmental, every whatever. So try your best not to generalize, because I assure you, not everyone's like that. Not every churches are like that. Not every, just because you went through that experience, it doesn't mean you're going to go through that experience in the next place and in the next place that you go to. And I think it's very key that we get ourselves to a mature understanding that just because you've experienced that in that one place, it doesn't mean it's going to be in every single place. And don't generalize, because when you generalize, this can be a barrier for you being open. This can be a barrier for you going to church. So be just very careful, please. Also, I think sizing of church is really important. Maybe if you're in a really small church, you get that kind of intimacy, even if you're in a smaller place. But if you are in a big place, then that's where the ball game is different. And I think it's also understanding that when you're in a big place, when you're in a big church, okay, it's not all the time the pastor will be able to say hello to you. It's not all the time the bishop will be able to acknowledge you. It's not all the time. And sizing plays a big factor. And maybe they themselves, they're really busy with so much responsibilities because they're like literally overseeing everything. Sizing can have an effect on that. But then at the same time, it's very key in big places or big churches that you have people, you have a community, you have individuals with certain responsibilities who fill in those gaps. And I think that's key, because when those gaps are filled, then one may not feel as isolated, or you know, they're not in a welcome environment. I think it's very important that we're not judgmental as well. And these individuals who have gone through church hurt, you know, I think it's also coming from a place where we have to try our best to be understanding, try our best to be there for them, you know, try our best to direct them to the word of God. Judgmental, because I think what tends to happen is that they get shunned off, or they're just painted in a particular way, and it's like, okay, they're not one of us, so sort of thing. That's one thing I've made sure that I've always implemented. I've always made sure, if I know individuals have gone through some kind of church hurt, or they've gone through a particular experience that maybe not everyone would understand, I've just tried my best to just be as open, not judgmental, and just to be there for them, be that supporting network, and just let them know that I'm here, sort of thing. If you want to talk, I'm here. Just hope that everyone else can learn to do that. But yes guys, I really hope you liked this video. Make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you support a sister. Make sure, comment below, comment below any help, like any support, you know, just DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to support, you know what I mean, I'm happy. Until next time guys.